welcome back to Sit Fearlessly. Woo woo! I love that you know it, Annie, already. I am one half of Sit Fearlessly. We are missing my sis, Gigi, today, so sending her much love, kisses, hugs, all of that good stuff. She is on mommy duty, but I'm so excited to be here today. It is like a beautiful summer day, so I'm definitely enjoying it. I got the short shorts on today. I got the legs out, you know, it's happening today. But we are really excited, and I'm so excited to have my first guest here today. We are coming off of a high. I want to give a special shout out to Kaylani for putting together an amazing Boss Babes brunch together this past weekend. It was nothing short of incredible. All of the panelists, all of the guests in the building, all of just the women that were in there, like I felt the love, the sisterhood, like we all clapped for each other, empowered each other, connected with each other. It was just amazing. And it's been a while since I have been to, you know, a women's empowerment event like that where I felt everyone really was pouring into each other. So shout out to Kaylani for, you know, just bringing that energy together. Like, we love you, sis. Yes. Thank you for that. And we want another one. Yeah. Okay? I know you're tired. We're resting, but we want another one. I also want to give a shout out to my girl, Victoria Jen, who also had an incredible dinner Saturday night. She took us to have some Dominican food, and then we went salsa after. So we like burned off those calories, and that was incredible as well. So shout out to you too, to my sis, Victoria Jen. So it was a jam-packed weekend for me. It was a time for me to have my cup poured into. Yeah. That's how I felt after Sunday. I was like, oh my God, my cup runneth over. Like, I love this, as he puts on the logo, right? Thank you, Will. So, no, that's how I felt, like really, truly. I think in this entrepreneurship journey that we're on, you know, we gain people, we lose people. We pour so much of ourselves. We work, you know, so much on our businesses and what we're doing, and sometimes we forget about ourselves. We give, and forget about ourselves. So, you know, this weekend I was intentional, and I was like, I'm going to attend these events on my own because I want to build connections, and I want to meet new people, and I want to be open to letting new energy in, right? Because we're always like, oh, you know, no new energy, no new friends. No, there's great people out there. We can't walk around scorned from our past. Sometimes people are in your lives for a phase, just a time, you know, and it's time to let them go and move on and still be open. You know, God wants us to all be open. And actually, speaking of that, real quick, Victoria had a moment where she put some little affirmation cards in our swag bags. And the one that I got actually did say that. It was like, and I'm not saying this verbatim, but it was like, continue to freely pour into others so the energy could be reciprocated. And I was like, just in time, God, just in time. So yes, very happy. But we have Ms. Annie Martinez.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for coming. I love this. I cannot wait to sit down and hear more about your story and everything that you're doing. So without further ado, share a little bit about yourself with us.
So thank you for having me. I was so excited to meet you at the event this past Sunday. And again, thank you, Kaylani, for making this connection and so many others. So my name is Annie Martinez. I am a career and empowerment coach. So I help women now kind of figure out where they are in their careers and their journey, but come as themselves confidently. I built my career in corporate. I spent 20 years in corporate America kind of navigating those rooms and trying to shatter those glass ceilings. And the truth is, like, those rooms were not necessarily built for women like us, women of color who have a voice, who have opinions. So a lot of the times we find ourselves kind of like shrinking in those rooms and staying shut and being quiet because we don't want to ruffle feathers, and we kind of just wait around for our opportunity or our turn. And I found that unless I went after those things on my own, I was never going to get them. Yeah. So I went through that journey. It was really difficult. And then when I finally came into my own and I finally started showing up as myself authentically, and it's funny because I met someone at the event, this young woman who came to me and said that she was going to interview for this new role. And she's like, and I'm afraid of, like, I don't know how to show up with my hair and, like, and what type of makeup I should wear. And I'm like, show up as yourself. When I started to just show up as myself and got my piercings and my tattoos and just was, I don't care what people say or think, because my value, my experience and my expertise, like all that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
That's when I started getting the promotions, that led me to a VP role. And so the journey was not easy. So now my mission is to help women and young women understand you can show up however you want, but you have to know your value and be confident enough to show up however it feels good to you.
Yeah.
So
I love that. I love that because I come from the corporate world as well, which
0 out of 10.
Very grateful
Yeah.
for my journey, though. I learned a lot throughout the 20 years that I was in corporate. But, back then when we got started, we know it was completely different.
Very different.
Completely different. Now we have DEI, diversity and inclusion, and, people who speak up for us in those rooms. But, yeah, like you said, I had to dim my light. I had to dim my voice. God forbid I showed up with my curly hair. And I felt everything was all black and white. My suits were black and white, gray, just like
button downs,
and I also made that decision to break free. And once I did, I was like, I'm wearing color. Yeah. I'm letting my hair down. I'm going to learn more about myself and take my power back, So I love that.
And how did that feel? Wasn't that like the most amazing?
It was the most freeing thing. It was the most freeing feeling that I could have ever had, because I definitely felt trapped, and misunderstood, because of our culture and things like that. So thank you for doing that. I love that. Yes. Okay, so you went from associate VP to confidence coach.
Yes.
What was the I can't do this corporate BS anymore? I know you shared a little bit, but what was that moment that changed everything for you?
So I there's two sides to that coin, right? Like, I do still love certain aspects of corporate. I love the idea of building teams and building process. Like, I'm a very business-oriented person, so I love that side of it. I grew up in business. My mom's an entrepreneur. My husband's an entrepreneur. So it's like, it surrounds me.
Yeah.
But I also love coaching people. So a lot of the teams that I work with, I'm coaching people up to the next level in their careers.
Nice.
What I didn't like about corporate is like the corporate politics. And so navigating the corporate politics when you are a woman who has a voice and opinions does get tricky, because not everybody wants to hear the opinions, even if the opinions are for the betterment of the business. And so that was my least favorite part of it. I left corporate a month ago, not by choice. I was laid off.
Oh, wow.
Unexpectedly.
Wow.
But I did give myself, at the beginning of the year, a timeline to be out of corporate in 6 months and like really step into this journey.
Yeah.
And I was talking to my sister the other day, and she's like, you were never going to leave. Like, you were so comfortable, and the universe pushed you out.
That's
at the 6 month mark. I was laid off. I was shocked but not surprised, is what I tell people. And everything happens for a reason. Yes. I was able to now step into this passion of mine and just really pursue it, like, without anything holding me back. And it's really, really exciting.
I love it. And that's the thing about corporate, though.
Yeah.
We're just a number.
We're just a number. Yeah.
Because I do agree with you. I love teamwork. I love team building. I think being in corporate definitely builds your character. 100%. But you can be let go whenever, and that's one thing that I also disliked from being in that. But kudos to you, because now you get to focus on what you really want. Okay? So you talk a lot about reclaiming your voice. How did you find yours in a boardroom full of people who don't look or sound like you?
I just had to go for it. There were so many times that I would, again, like, not say anything, or I used to raise my hand in meetings. I'm like, I'm not, like,
right.
kind of like asking for permission to speak. Right. Like, let me raise my hand, and then they'll call on me. But, when I think it was just like a moment where I had so many ideas, and I just felt like I wasn't being listened to. Like, I just feel like no one's listening to me, or I'm talking about my ideas to people in private, and then they're taking those ideas and sharing them in the meeting, but not giving me the credit for the idea.
Right.
And I think you come to a point, again, you build that confidence. Like I always say, confidence is a muscle you have to build over time, and you have to kind of like rewire your brain to say, no, I need to say something. I need to speak up. This is my idea. I have to bring value into this meeting, especially if you want to get noticed. Like if you want to be noticed for promotions and leadership roles, you have to speak up. And I just started to speak up one day, and then it just felt so normal and so good that I just kept doing it. And then I started to get the recognition and the value that I knew I deserved for the ideas that I was bringing to the table. So I don't know that there was an exact moment. I think it's more, it was a buildup for me, and I had to talk myself into feeling good about doing it without being afraid to do it.
Right, right. So for the first generational baddies like us who are trying to break cycles and build their careers out, what's the hardest generational script you think they're battling right now?
There's a lot of cultural guilt that we have to kind of move through. A lot of the coaching that I do sometimes goes into the way that we were brought up culturally. In the Latino culture, we are taught to take care of everyone else before ourselves.
Yes.
And so that goes with everything, right? So it's like, I remember my mom, she was, when I immigrated here from Dominican Republic and I was 5, she used to work at a factory. And she used to come home at 7 o'clock at night and start cooking dinner. There was never time for herself. Then she opened her own business, very successful woman. But still, she would come home after work, in her heels, in her clothes, start cooking us dinner, never time for herself. So that's what I saw growing up, right? So it's like, it became my script.
Your norm,
So I would go to work in corporate, I would deal with all the things, all the things, and then come home to cook dinner. And then one day I just gave myself permission to stop doing that, like break that cultural cycle and say, I don't want to today. I don't want to cook. I just want to go to work. I want to come home. I want to pour a glass of wine or water, or whatever you'd like to drink, and watch, reality TV and do my thing. So for me, it's like break the cycle of having to put everyone else's needs in front of yours and waiting for permission to put yourself first. Because that is not going to give you the satisfaction and kind of like give you the ability to gain the growth that you want, because you're always holding something back. I also find that it causes a lot of like resentment towards the people around you.
I was just going to say that. Yes. That was part of the message from Sunday. It was us stepping into our selfish season. Yeah. So absolutely, I encourage all of you guys, especially us women, to step into your selfish season. Like, it is okay to say no. It is okay to create boundaries. Like, boundaries is one of the biggest thing, because a lot of people don't want to accept it, that you're putting up those boundaries. And it's like, no, this is a boundary, but this is a boundary with love. It does not mean anything else. It just means I'm going to stop this and say no to this and put up this boundary. But it does not mean that there's still lack of care and love there. And I think that that's what we need to change.
And when you start to build those boundaries, you're probably going to lose some people. You're going to maybe lose some friends. You're going to lose some family members, because that old version of you who was a people pleaser and who put everyone else before themselves is gone. And some people just don't want to meet this new you. So it's okay to kind of like set those boundaries, put yourself first, let go of whatever that cultural, belief is to take care of everyone else before yourself. Because in the end, like what I said on Sunday, like if I'm not happy, no one else is going to be happy.
Absolutely, exactly. And people around you get used to you doing stuff for them
all the time.
So they become like entitled. And it's like, no.
And then you say no, and they're like, what?
Right.
You said no?
It's the craziest thing for me. So create those boundaries, guys. Create those boundaries. So what is the biggest lie that women tell themselves about career success, and what's your truth?
The biggest lie that women tell themselves, I would say, is if you work hard enough, people will notice and you'll get the promotion, or you'll get the accolades. That's a lie. And I don't think it's just for women of color. I think it's for women in general. I think we might be affected a little bit more because we're probably unseen a little bit more and unheard. But I think overall, that's the lie we tell ourselves. If we work really hard, they'll notice. The reality is that you have to work hard, but you have to brag about it. Like, playing humble is not going to get you anywhere. Playing humble is going to keep you invisible. And so, you can brag. Like I always coach my clients to learn how to brag about themselves without sounding like they're bragging. So like in a meeting, it's okay to say, oh, hey guys, like, did you see this process that I was able to create with the team? Like, who was involved in it? Like, make sure you're not just bragging about yourself, but whoever was involved in whatever that thing is. So I think that's the biggest lie. And what was the second part of that question?
No, what's your truth?
Oh, yeah. And then my truth is, like, it's okay to not be humble and talk about your successes and talk about your contributions and let people know what you bring to the table. There's nothing wrong with that.
I agree with that. When I was in corporate, I have this quick story. When I was in corporate, this one time, one of my bosses, he was really cool though, and he really, wanted to see me grow and things like that. But he wanted me to have his personality, and I had an issue with that. And I was like, I'm not you, sir. Like, I love
so many ways.
Yeah, I'm like, I love everything about you. I love that you're such a people person. I love that you're this, that, charismatic, whatever. It's great, but it's not me. I can get there, maybe, but with time. And Sunday I mentioned, I talked about it being introvert and things like that. And I love that you talk about not being humble. Don't be humble at work. And I think that that is key because sometimes humble comes with the introvertness too and the shyness, right?
Yes.
So I remember one day I came into the office and I brought this book. And I think it talked about the introverted extrovert or something like that was the title. And I put it right at the corner of my desk,
So
because corporate, passive aggressive, corporate. But I put it right there so he could see it. And it was like a topic of conversation for us because I was like, just give me some time, sir.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, I have to agree with him partially because that's exactly what was happening to me. Because I was so much in my head, I was losing out on the opportunity of meeting other executives there, of, mingling with them and things like that because, I was introverted and in my head a lot. And I think that I probably, would have, could have, should have, right?
Yeah.
I probably would have got a little further in my position there at that location. But yeah, so definitely brag a lot. Brag a lot.
Don't be afraid.
Yes.
Don't be afraid to talk about what you're doing.
Yes.
And also, like, don't think someone else is going to do it for you. That's another mistake that I think I made. I always waited for my managers to say, what I was doing and to give me credit.
Yes.
It's like, don't wait for it.
Yes.
Take it. Take the credit that you deserve.
Yes. Leadership is so challenging sometimes because when you're providing leadership, you also need your team to step up to the plate and embrace the leadership and the guidance that you're giving them, right? So if they're asking, what is it that I can do? And if you iron it out for them and they're still not following through on that, it comes down to them at that point and not the leadership, So I think that's another thing that we also have to look at and take accountability for.
100%.
Because if things are laid out for us, we need to, it's going to be laid out, but the step-by-step has to come from you.
Yeah.
That's how you evolve and you grow yourself as well, So I just wanted to make that note.
Yeah.
But, so you coach and you help women negotiate and advocate like bosses.
Yes.
I love that. What's your favorite, if you can think of any, I got the bag client win story that you have?
In my corporate life client story, like something that I sold, or like my own
Or
clients.
your coaching, yes.
My coaching clients.
Yes.
Yes. So I was helping this woman that I was working with negotiate her salary.
Okay.
And what I do is, because I've had those conversations in real life, obviously, with my corporate teams, and I challenge them to talk to me, and I talk to them like we role play.
Okay.
The way that I would ask the questions of someone on my team asking me for a raise.
Nice.
So because I come from this world, I know exactly what questions you should come with. I know exactly what value you should bring. And so we had this role play back and forth, and she went back and she put it to action and she got a $10,000 raise.
Woo!
So
I love that.
and it was just like, it's the role play aspect of it. It's like, so
Yes.
I'm the person you're asking for a raise. We're doing your review and whatever. How are you coming prepared to those conversations? So a lot of that is, which we don't do either, is we don't go into these conversations during our reviews or when we're negotiating prepared to have the conversation.
Yes.
We're just asking, but it's like, okay, but why should I give you more money? What are you doing to provide the value that you deserve a $10,000 raise? And she came with that. She came with the receipts. She came, and that was her homework, right? Like everything that you've done over the past 6 months or over the year, you need to keep documented. So when you're having these conversations, you can say, this is what I did. This is how it helped to grow the business. This is how much revenue was generated because of this. And this is why I deserve this raise.
I love that. We do have to come with stats.
Yeah, 100%.
That is true.
Yes.
That is true. And that's something we covered too on Sunday. We have to come with our testimonials, with our stats, because we have to show and prove that we are making a difference and we're making an impact with the work that we're doing. So I like that. So that's another gem. See all the gems Annie's dropping?
dropping them.
All the gems, okay? So actually, I want to ask you, what has been in your coaching process, and especially with women, what has been a challenge that you've seen as far as women either accepting the guidance that you're providing them or actually taking the steps and initiative, to make those changes in their lives? What are some challenges that you have seen? What's some things that we can improve on as women?
I think women are so afraid to invest in themselves. I have a lot of conversations with women, and they're so afraid to invest, not just financially, but just like in their growth.
Yeah.
Right. And taking the necessary steps to set the boundaries or to do the additional work to document what they're doing, to kind of like break some bad habits, to break the cultural stigmas. It's like you have to say, I want to change and I want better and I deserve better. But that takes work.
Yeah.
And that's investment. It's time investment. It's investment in, you might not, go out and buy a bag because you want to invest in your future somehow, right? And so I think we're our own blocks sometimes. We're our own roadblocks.
Oh, yes.
So that has been the biggest challenge for me is I have conversations with women and I'm like, do you want to move forward? Like set up a session, like set up a free session.
Right.
Like I do a free session.
Right.
And they still are like, oh, I don't know. And it's like, it's free.
Right.
It's free to just have a 30-minute conversation to help you understand how you can challenge one, goal or get through something.
Exactly.
And then so I think, but I also think again, it's because we're so afraid to do things for ourselves.
Yeah.
And it's like that cultural thing again. Like
Absolutely.
Put yourself last. I don't have time or, so.
Yeah, I think we're also afraid sometimes. Like, oh, if I take this coaching session, that means somebody's going to hold me accountable.
Yeah.
And I have to actually do the work that I'm saying I'm doing.
And I hold people accountable.
Yes.
It's my favorite thing to do now.
Yeah, so that could be a part of it too. All right, so what's the one mantra every woman needs to whisper to herself before walking into a space that wasn't quote unquote built for her?
What I say to myself before I walk into those spaces is, I deserve to be here. Period.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. I love that. Networking is scary.
Yeah.
Networking is scary for a lot of people. So I love that you said that. I think that is the key when you're going into a networking space. And, just knowing and understanding that you have a place here.
Yeah.
That what you're doing brings value to others. It doesn't matter where you're at in the process, whether it's in the beginning, in the middle, up here. I think that's how we need to walk into every space. Like we bring value. And, also by yourself, like I mentioned earlier. I think the more we become comfortable with entering spaces on our own and standing on our own ground is really going to help us evolve. Yeah. Because then we don't have that comfort zone, right, that we're attaching ourselves to, and we're actually have to go out there and talk to people and things like that. So
and then we also don't need the constant affirmation.
Yes.
Right? Like
exactly.
the constant, like, oh, you're doing so good. I mean, it's nice to hear.
Yes.
But when you're able to like know that for yourself, like you don't need everyone to pat you on the back, it feels that much better.
Yes. Okay. Let's see. All right. What is a toxic generational thing that we have brought from generation into ourselves now that hold us back?
Guilt.
Guilt. Mm-hmm.
guilt. You know, we're moms.
Yeah.
And when I first started my corporate journey, one of the jobs that I had to travel all the time, at least once a month. And every time I had to go away, I felt so guilty. And I said my mom come and like, you know, do all the things. I didn't stop feeling guilty about leaving my household probably until like 4 years ago. And I'm 46 years old. And so again, like another cultural thing that I had to break through. But it's that guilt we constantly carry as women, as mothers, just like, again, putting yourself first. I feel so bad that I left them. They were fine.
Right.
You know?
I know.
But it's a constant guilt, the constant guilt.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think also like when it comes to, you know, you mentioned investing in yourself. When it comes to like our finances too, I think that's a generational curse that we carry, especially in our like, you know, Latino culture. Like our parents didn't trust much. I mean, your mom is an exception. I love that she ventured out and became an entrepreneur. Like that is incredible. So shout out to your mom.
Shout out, mama.
Yes, but a lot of our parents and grandparents, they were more like, let's put the money under the pillow. Don't put it in the bank. Don't trust the bank, you know? Don't invest. It's let's keep it here secure. This is more secure, you know? So I think that too, like my mom is very much like that. She's not like a huge risk taker. And I'm always like, Mom, like you need to invest. Time is passing. Like you're missing out on all of these great rates and like things are getting more expensive and more expensive, you know? So I think breaking that stigma too is very important.
And I love that because I think creating that independence, like creating financial freedom, and I think that's why I became so independent. I became financially independent when I was in my early 20s. I was just telling you I moved out and you know, I went into corporate. And so having that financial independence really does also help you kind of gain confidence because you're doing it by yourself. You're not asking or waiting for anyone else to do it. But I didn't understand the financials. Right. So now I think we're in an era where there are so many women who are teaching other women how to become financially independent, how to invest, how to understand rates, where to, you know.
Love it.
So I love that.
Shout out to us.
Yes. Shout out to us. Yes.
Oh my God, it's been such a pleasure sitting with you.
This was great.
We have to do another part. I always say this because I'm like, we could just continue the conversation.
We could.
But in 10 seconds, let everyone know where they can follow you, where they can catch you, all of that good stuff, and we definitely will be back.
Yes. So you can find me at Annie Martinez, the Confidence Coach on Instagram, on my website at Annie Martinez, the Confidence Coach, and hopefully doing more podcasts and speaking engagements. So yeah, come and follow me on Instagram.
Thank you so much, Annie. I appreciate
Thank you. This was amazing. Thank you for having me.
And you guys know this is Sit Fearlessly. I'm your girl, Sue Fearless, and check it out. Follow us, support us, all that good stuff. Thank you.